Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, dear listeners. This is Comesa Radio Africa. The mind, the journey, the destiny. We apply our mind to the journey that takes us to our destiny. It is about the plugged and active mind. It's about the sharing mind, futuristic mind, inquiring mind. The journey is signified by enthusiastically promoting our ideas, giving as we learn, retaining and investing our learnings, and searching for new opportunities. It's the destiny about productivity and profitability, social responsibility and caring for each other. It's about growth and sustainability, renewal and survival. Welcome to Coaching 101 Conversation, and I'm joined by Coach Mokgadi Rameetse. Greetings, my sister. How are you doing?
I'm good, and you, Dr. Sam?
I'm doing very well. How do we check in? Body, mind, spirit?
I'm all good, and I'm happy to be here at Comesa Radio, Mind, Journey, and Destiny.
Beautiful, beautiful. I always remind coaches to take care of themselves, body, mind, spirit balance, so that we can be fully present with our clients. How do you feel about the topic, the role of coaching at the educational executive programs?
I think it's very important that it's introduced formally. Actually, in all the education departments or faculties, they need to introduce it because with coaching, all our students can start to think differently. But if they are not coached,
carry on.
But if they are not coached, they will still think within their boxes. That's what I wanted to say.
So it's a very good addition to the offering of any executive business program or education in general. That's what you are saying, right?
Correct.
Good. I was revisiting the origin of coaching, and I read a bit about the work that the late Sir John Whitmore and Timothy Galloway were doing, and they talk about the inner game, which suggests that, and they were using sport, specifically tennis, where their argument was that if the player believes in themselves and work from their own inner strength, there's no other opponent that can stop them. So rather than focusing on the actual physical training, you need to focus on the mental strength of the person and help the player believe that they can do it. And that was transferred into coaching. And you can imagine if you are an executive business program student and you are terrified and you don't believe that you can make it, that it could actually be a problem. And the coach is there to actually unlock that. Have you experienced a situation like that, either yourself personally or in a class situation where you are lecturing?
Yes, definitely. Once you start give that coaching to people, remember coaching is about the confidence. You give them confidence to come out of their comfort space and start doing other things, because once a person has the confidence, they own their space. And once they start to own their space, when they get into the room, they feel their presence. And that will encourage them not just to get into the room, but have the capabilities of, I'm getting into this meeting, I need knowledge, I need this. And when they engage at that time, they will be engaging, having the knowledge of what they have prepared before that meeting. So coaching is about confidence, because confidence will give you these three things. It will give you the presence, the capability, and the engaging. So I think I totally agree with what you are saying. To say no one will beat that tennis player if mentally they are being coached to say you are better than anyone. I totally agree.
Yeah. So basically it's about the idea that as a coach, meeting your client, you really don't have to bring anything with you other than working with what the client brings. So you meet the client at the point where they are. I can imagine at a business school or at any executive education program, people are very different. They come from different industries, different background. On arrival there, you need to help them bring their best into the class. Yeah, if we take an MBA class, they bring their best into the class and they themselves actually contribute to the makeup of that class. As a coach, how will you go about making sure that this new class that you're bringing in understand that actually their own diversity make that class? Where will you start?
Yeah, when you introduce the subject, obviously in the first few lessons, you will be telling them the outcome of that particular. I lecture for BEE, particularly the enterprise and supply development. So what you are supposed to do to the learners is to explain to them to say, it's not just about the topic that I'm going to be explaining to you today or teaching you today, but it's about this topic, taking it and making a difference out there. You start to give them examples of how you can make a difference. And it's only you, it starts with you.
Yes.
And you put it in the context that they individualize it to say, it's not just me and my classmate, but it's me who can make a difference. They start to feel good to say, okay, actually with this subject I can do this and that. So you individualize it so that they feel good and they start to own it.
The traditional educational programs used to throw books at people. You need to study this book or this material and be able to apply it, which is still the case and is understandable. But this new approach where we're saying, especially in the adult learning setup, which actually many programs apply, we want people to apply themselves. And sometimes we sit in classes and we are different. You'll find some people very reserved, not coming out, and you are not able to actually to benefit from what they are. So one of the roles that I see coaching doing is to unlock that, remove the fear from the people, enable the people to bring their full self, because then they contribute to the whole formation of the class. And so you're lecturing one of the very difficult subjects, BE. And I'm sure people come there with at the various levels of knowledge. Do you see coaching as very much practically helpful, applied by you as a lecturer, or coaches being hired to support the learners? Is that what you are experiencing?
Yeah, I think it's there to do two things. Obviously, you have to support the learners, but over and above that, you need to do it just to make a change. I believe in transformation. I totally believe that something is going to happen in our country. But when it comes to coaching, you need to, when you lecture, you need to put it in context that they must be self-aware. Because when you lecture, BEE is different kind of races in the class. So you need to make them aware that, look, you must be self-aware in the environment that you are in, and you must be able to, one of the most important things, to frame your questions or your views. Because the way you frame your questions and your views can change everything. So when you are busy lecturing, you need to be also teaching them that, to say, you cannot just say you are black, you are white. You need to say what is the benefit. So you coach them in that, and also the navigation in the
So are you coaching them on awareness as far as their diversity is concerned, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And
that is on the class environment, not on the individual people, that the 3 people that I have.
That you are coaching.
Yes, I've got 3 people that I'm coaching formally. In the class environment, you just do it in a way that it will benefit everyone.
I see. And is that helping the learning process?
I think it is. I think it's helping.
Yeah.
Because when people start to understand, then they engage. And because without understanding, people will not engage. They will just resent you and look at you and say, let me pass and get on with it.
I see. So as a lecturer, you pay individual attention to each learner or student to establish what are the things that they're struggling with. What are the blockages? Am I right?
Yeah, but not okay, let me tell you how. The way I structure my lecturing, I structure in a way that every learner feels important.
Yes.
Feels that they can talk to me. Feels that they can pick a phone at any time and say, look, I'm battling in this. Even though I'm not going to be paid for it, I'll still answer and say, look, you need to do this and this and this. And the school will not be paying for the time that I'm spending with that person. But I'm doing it because
it's a way of being as a coach. I always say to people that once a coach, always a coach. The way you do, and we're going to talk about managers also managing using coaching methodology, and I can imagine how valuable it's becoming that the lecturers start actually becoming consciously aware that coaching can be used in a class environment as well. And that knowledge of coaching is very helpful to you as a lecturer, and that's what I hear you bringing out now. Yeah?
Yeah. You cannot just get in and lecture and get paid and go.
Yeah.
Make sure that when after lecturing you have impacted your group, the learners, you have impacted them.
Yes. So I also hear you saying that over and above the institution of learning, appointing coaches to assist the learners outside the class environment, you need to have lecturers who are conscious about the role that coaching can be played while they're busy imparting the knowledge. It's not just unleashing the information, and it's also being interested in knowing that it's landing very well with the learners. Also being interested that there could be other things that are blocking them from receiving the information or applying the information. And I guess this is what we are trying to say.
Yes, correct. Totally agree.
Yeah.
Because if you just give them the theory, others will pass the theory because they've got photographic memory.
Yes.
But that will not do anything to them.
Yes.
It will not change their life. It will not empower their life. They'll still be the same after having the certificate.
Yeah. So it looks like we are revolutionizing teaching now. We are making it very difficult for the coaches by saying that you, as a coach, you need, for the trainers or the lecturers, we are saying that as a lecturer, you need to also have the coaching methodology in you. Because what do you do if the person is not receiving the material?
And I think actually coaching, it comes with a passion to see people succeed. Because you know that when they succeed, you succeed.
Yeah.
So if you're a lecturer having a passion, you will want to give your lecturing in a way that it will benefit your student.
Yeah.
And it can apply in every sector. If you're a policeman, you will do your work that will impact everyone. Can be a coach in their sector as long as they've got passion for what they do.
Historically, coaching was seen as an intervention to rectify non-performance, and that used to taint the image of coaching. Fortunately, that has turned around, and I hope that you as lecturers, if you identify one of your students who are struggling and you call them to the side and you apply coaching in assisting them, I hope you are not sort of like labeling them bad, that you are struggling so you need additional effort other than lectures. So how do you prep that student so that you don't end up destroying that confidence in them?
The good thing about the business schools is that the people that attend there is adults.
Yes.
So when you talk to them, you don't talk to them like you're talking to your kids.
Yes.
You bring the same understanding to them to say, guys, this is what we want to achieve. And you then agree at the beginning that we are going to achieve this. This is what we are going to do. So it's coaching at the business schools is much better than at university.
So it looks like anyway the design of the business school has taken that into account, even though they might have not labeled it as coaching, but they are very respecting, they are very accommodating, they are very assisting, which is really, those are the principles of coaching, right?
Correct.
Beautiful. And do you agree with the fact that I was saying that if a person comes from a company where coaching is applied and they come into your class, they may experience the situation a little bit different, because if in their companies they are exposed to learning through coaching, now they are sent to a business school where they are just pumping knowledge into them. It could be a challenge. What do you do when you have people who are coming from different environments, where one environment coaching methodology is applied and one environment it's not? What do you do to bring the class to the same level?
Yeah, the people that come from coaching environment, they actually perform better.
Yes.
Because once you give them guidance, already they are coached. They know that, okay, I can do this.
Yes.
So they are up to speed because you are giving them guidance.
Yes.
But the ones that are not coming from coaching environment, they take a bit longer because they need a bit of encouragement to say, look, there's going to be a deadline for group assessment. Make sure you participate fully in the group, because if you don't participate fully in the group, you will not get the marks and that will impact you. So people that are coming from coaching environment, they perform better all the time.
Yeah. But how do we help those who? So will you use those who are? Do you table it as a coaching intervention, or you just apply it and hope to see the results?
Yeah, for me, because you can't talk to the individuals in the class.
Yes.
For me, what I try to do is just to make sure that you bring those that are not coming from coaching environment to the same level with these ones that are coming from the coaching environment by putting the expectation and how you're going to help them and how they're going to achieve, instilling that confidence to say, yes, this is what you're going to do, and once you start to put that, then they come up to the level of those that are.
I see. So you are applying the methodology of group coaching, yeah, or team coaching. Well, it depends. Team and group coaching are two different, but at the early stages, it will be a group coaching because they are not yet a team. But once you have jointly formulated the objectives of the class, it could end up being a team coaching, and I guess that's what that applies in the syndicate work, isn't it?
Yes, correct, 100%.
Yeah, beautiful. I guess we might be stating the obvious to the listeners out there, but I think we just want to affirm that these are all methodologies you can use when you take one particular learner out of the class without actually blackmailing them or without painting them negatively. You have identified that they as individuals are struggling, and therefore you sort of like apply coaching to help them come up and reach to their inner strength. And when you address the whole class or maybe two groups of the class, you are saying one of you is a little bit progressive because you are exposed to coaching methodology and the others you are not. You bring them to the same level. And once they become a team, then you can then use team coaching for the common objective. How it sounds like the whole teaching could become fun, yeah, if you bring coaching into it.
Very true, and it is, because what you do then as a lecturer, you make sure that your whole class is energized. Because if the class is not energized, they will not be able to listen to you.
Yes.
So as a lecturer, there are three things that are key that you're supposed to do, especially when you are lecturing. I call it lecturing by coaching.
Yes.
So if you're lecturing by coaching, you need to make sure that you energize.
Yes.
You need to make sure that you enable. You need to make sure that your learners understand that they need to be resilient. They need to build resilience in them so that they can succeed. So if you can instill these three things to your learners, then it becomes easier. And even the relations with one another because already now they know that, okay, this is, the energy is not...
So you create the atmosphere of positivity and energy, and how do you make them dance in the class and stretch and...
You just create some of the things, like I'll be telling them, wow, you are so privileged. For me, when I was at university, I never had time for boyfriend.
Yes.
Something like that, and they'll think, what? And
yes.
They want to engage, they want to understand.
They catch a wake up.
Yes, and they said, now do you have a boyfriend? No, I'm married now. So you have to energize the class and get to the enabling part and to the resilient part, and they will be able to listen to you. You will have a beautiful
One of the requirements for effective coaching to take place is to make sure that both you, the coach, and the client, in this case the students, you are fully present. And I guess that energizer is also to bring them up. And also, I like the example you are giving. Sometimes chit-chatting around things that interest them. And then they wake up and we always say that you first have to like your lecturer before you can enjoy the course. Because if you hate this lecturer, you are not going to enjoy the course that they are lecturing you on, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Especially because people come to the school coming from different backgrounds. Others, they don't want to be there. It's just the employer said, we have the skills development budget, so go and attend this course so that we can tick a box. They don't want to be in that class.
They are just complying with a directive from the bosses.
Correct.
Yeah. But that's the same way with sometimes people are put on coaching programs with us, the coaches. And sometimes in the chemistry session, you ask the person, what did they say you are going to achieve? Or what did they tell you when they introduce coaching? Normally you hear people that they just said I must attend coaching. I don't even know what coaching is. Well, if they don't know what coaching is, it's fine. But the worst thing is if they don't know why they are sent on a coaching program, then you know that you have a problem.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think that's
because they have to want to be there.
They have to want to be there
for it to work. Yeah.
For it to work. So nobody must be forced to be coached. So now we are saying that somebody can be forced to attend an executive education program, and once they are there, then you make them love it by using the coaching interventions and help them find the meaning.
Sorry?
You want to help them find the meaning why they are there in the executive education program using coaching intervention.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because remember, when you are a coach, there's something that comes naturally with time. Encouraging, it just comes. You find yourself encouraging, and a person will be saying, "Oh, thank you so much, I did it." And you are not saying you are intentional. I'm intending to encourage this one. You are just encouraging them to say, "You did good. I think this course will help you even in the future when you are going to be looking for employment or when you go into the business. It will actually help you." So you're just saying those things, and they start to go, "Wow, let me take it serious now."
Yes.
So you're encouraging without intending. So
Absolutely. We're saying that coaching is the way of being. You should not be working too hard to be a coach. You should just be a coach, and that becomes your way of being, and that appeals to the client, in this case the students. Now, I think over and above the phenomena of applying coaching in lecturing, in other words, we are blending lecturing, training with coaching. There is also this trend that managers and leaders are starting to actually apply coaching to the way they manage and lead their teams. I find that fascinating because it basically says that you don't attend coaching programs to become a coach, but you attend coaching programs to become a manager that uses coaching methodologies in managing and leading people. And then I think that makes the case for using coaching in lecturing at the executive education program even much more stronger, because they are mostly the managers themselves, isn't it?
Correct, yes. And you know, if you're a manager and you don't manage by coaching, it will be difficult. You will think your subordinates or the people, your direct report, don't like you.
Yeah.
You'll always have a problem. But if you manage by coaching, your team understands you. Your team is not afraid to come to you. You know, they know that even when they work on Christmas Day, you can just pop in sometimes and bring them sweets or something.
Yes.
They've got that relation. They would not be saying, it's Christmas, I'm going to get a sick leave, and they become so open knowing that. Because
so you put them at the center of your management practice.
Correct.
It's all about them. And as we always say in coaching, it's all about the client. It is not your session. Yes, it is our session, but the primary focus in the coaching is the client. Now you can imagine if you are a manager and you are not able to make your team member or your subordinate the center of focus. And then you say you are applying coaching, management by coaching, it's not going to work. Are we also saying that, I don't know whether when we say a subordinate is a center of focus, we're saying that people must, even if they are not able to, they have to learn to love or to like their people. Because I think coaching has got that in itself, has got that liking and loving and interest in the person you are coaching. And what if you have this horrible personality and you just get tired of people? And that means managing by coaching is not going to be possible. Eh?
No. I know it will be difficult, but remember, when you become a coach, there are things that you learn, and it helps you to come out of the situations. When you are a coach and you see that you've got this person who reports to you, and this person is difficult, sometimes in a meeting you just avoid or don't entertain that particular argument because you know you're not going to win it in that meeting. So what you do, because you're a coach, you just leave it as if they have won. But you say, let's go for coffee or something. Or can I take you home, or let's drive, or whatever. And you create an environment to understand them, because if you raise it in a meeting, it will be something that you won't be able to contain or control. But if you let them speak because of their personality is in that way, then they will not feel like victims, like you are attacking them. You just leave it and close the meeting and laugh and say, thank you so much for attending. And later or maybe 2 days after, you even call them 2 days after and say, I want to take you for coffee, let's go for coffee. And you ask them, you were saying this, what was that all about? Can you help me? And that's how coaching works. You don't come and impose. You start to ask them questions, and when they now look at what you're asking, they're going to respond honestly. When they respond honestly, they start to, actually that was not necessary. I'm not supposed to do it in the next meeting. So you're just leading and managing by coaching, because you know which battles to let them slide and which ones are you going to win in the future. And in that way, you are then caring for yourself and caring for others. It's not about your ego as a manager. It's about caring for this particular employee, because you know that they can do better, but because they've got egos, you don't want to be raising yours as well, so that you are on par. You just leave it at that time and address it later.
It sounds like indeed coaching is an art.
It is.
You have to apply it in a very creative manner, and as they always say, dance with the client.
Correct.
Yeah.
So if you don't have that, and I have seen some of the managers, they will want to be punishing this person or managing them out because they have dealt with your ego in the meeting and you couldn't retaliate at that time, and now you start to manage them out. It's not necessary. If you're a coach, you become a bigger person and let it go and address it later for both your benefit. Why?
But we are saying, but we are not saying that managers must become coaches, right? We are saying that they must become aware of coaching methodologies, principles that they can apply in their managing of their people.
Correct. That's what we are saying. We
Yes.
are saying you need to manage. And remember when you are managing by coaching, we are not saying you need to be easy on people when they did not meet the deadlines, when they don't perform, when they do. No. But it's the how part are you going to do it? The how part is very important.
Absolutely. And I have a view that when you are managing people and you are identifying which ones to delegate to in terms of tasks, you also need to understand that if you delegate assignments or tasks to high-performing team members, it is then that situation where actually management by coaching becomes very easily applied. Because people who are high performers, that means basically they are self-driven, they are determined, they know when things have to be done, and therefore there's no need for you to be breathing down their necks. It's just for you to. It's like coaching a team of superstars. You can't teach them how to play the game. You can only share with them what you see in the game, and they also tell you what they see, and then you jointly take decision. I mean that's where I see managing by coaching or leading by coaching becoming very effective.
In that way, it becomes very effective. I'm going to give you an example. In my last employment, when I got there, they have appointed me and I'm the head of the department. And there's this person who has been working there for a very long time. When I met the team, the first thing he says to me, "How old are you?"
Yeah.
And I say my age. And he says, "You are the same age as my son." And I'm like, "Okay, all right, you are the same age as my son. Okay, all right." Then I start to engage. "Okay, no, that's good. Okay, how old are you?" And I realize, oh my God, yeah, this is going to be challenging. But because I think the coaching thing is just in me, I started to ask questions. But why were you not appointed into this position? Because when I look at you, you qualify, you do this, you do this, you do this. And he started to tell me his reasons why. And I said, "Look, for me, I'm here to do this. Me and you, we are going to be a power team. We are going to make sure that we deliver. We are going
So
to
you embraced him.
Yes.
You were actually removing the fears that were in him.
Yes, because he was trying to intimidate me. Because I was much younger, the same age as his son, actually the last born. So, and I started to embrace him and appreciated the knowledge that he had, because if a person has been with the organization for a very long time, the knowledge, the intellectual capital that they have is amazing. And I'm coming with different qualification. I don't know the business. But I started to embrace him and we worked together. Even today when I'm not there, we are still the best team because we coached each other. As I was trying to embrace him, he embraced me and we coached each other in a way that I never anticipated. But it's because I was not intimidated. I knew that we can work together very well.
Wonderful. Let's talk about the formats that learning institutions take when they introduce coaching. There are those who will have a special program where they hire coaches and assign coaches to each of their students. In other words, it is included in the student's fee, and the students know that when they get to that program, they will be given a coach. And then you have those which will say, it is a recommendation to the students that find yourself a coach. Obviously, then the students will have to pay for themselves. And there are those, they will find a coach themselves and pay for themselves. And there are those which will say that we will make coaches available, and any one of you who need coaches may approach them. So there are three formats. We identify coaches and make them available to you because it's included in your fees and is a requirement by our program. We recommend to you that you find yourself a coach because your program requires you to apply the knowledge you apply, so it's important to get a coach. Or they say that we just make coaches available and you decide. So which one do you think is the most effective?
I think it's the one that a student have to pay for themselves.
Is it? Why?
Because if you have to pay for something, you start to appreciate the value of that particular thing. Sometimes if it's included in the tuition fee and they just allocate a coach for you, not everyone, others will appreciate it, but not everyone will appreciate it. They will just go to the meetings with the coach as part of what they are supposed to be doing, as part of the assignment, and just do it and not engage fully. But when one realizes that actually a coach can help me to realize and unleash my full potential, then they will say, I want to pay for the coach. I want the coach because with the coach, I'm going to be a better person. But when it's been paid for someone, it's part of the institution. Hence I'm saying, institution, they are supposed to be having coaches. And that one is important. But when these coaches are paid by the institution, most of the students might not see the value. Others will, I'm not ruling it out. 50% will see the value, but 50% will not see the value. And that's how I see it.
But you are saying that the university or the business school or the institution must make sure that the coaches are available, they are accessible.
Correct, and I'll tell you why. Because when you look at the academic structure, there are some of the industries that academic structures are not including.
Yes.
What I mean is that it's all about academic, and they will say, look, you can, if you're in science, you can do this. If you have done this course, you can go into the medical laboratories. But they actually don't have the full knowledge because they're just the lecturers. They don't have the full knowledge of what these industries are. And for me, I always say it's pity that when we look at us as South African, particularly the Africans, we are not exposed to the industries that are key or critical to the economy. And I'm not diverting from the topic, but I'm trying to put the point across. When you look at the pharmaceutical industry, you will realize that there are few black owners there. Why? Because at the education, at the business schools, they're not exposing that particular area. When you look at the calibration industry, only few blacks are there. Why? The education system that we have is not exposing us to that. So we need the coaches that will say, Mokgadi, I appreciate that you are doing this course, but have you ever looked at the opportunities that are there in the medical laboratories? Did you ever think of owning a Lancet laboratory? Then I start not to think about consulting. I start to think about being what does DTI, black industrialist now. I start to think about it, and that's how coaching is supposed to be. Hence I'm saying it's important for the institution to have the coaches that are not employed by that are not full time with the institution, that are in the industry, so that they can expose the students to other industries that we are not exposed to.
I see. So you are bringing another interesting dimension to the role that the coach at the executive education program play, and that is exposing the coaches who are the students to diversity of opportunities in terms of sectors and industries there.
Correct.
But that will assume that we're talking about students maybe who are not already belonging to industries, because normally the executive education programs are attended to by people that are already coming from the industries themselves. Are you suggesting that also at the junior degree level we need to start thinking about coaching playing a role there?
No, they are coming from the industry, but the point that I was trying to bring home is that they don't see themselves as business owners. The coaching can be limited.
Yes.
You're just saying, I'm working for a big forensic company. I'm happy that I'm the CFO there. I'm now having the MBA. I'm now doing PhD. I have the coach. But you're not thinking of owning a forensic company. So it limits you. So you need that exposure through your coach to say, actually, I have worked for this company for 20 years and I've got the knowledge. I can go and do something else. So the coaching needs to push you beyond your limits.
Thank you so much for raising that. I think I was putting it narrowly by saying when I put together some of the pointers. Maybe I was narrowly focusing on the coach enabling the learning process. So you are saying that the coach is there for more than just the learning process. The coach is there for other things like exposing the students to opportunities out there, make them develop interest in sectors that they might have not had of or might have not been interested in. And I think it's very important, especially in the South African context. And I can see that I'm speaking to somebody who's engaged with BE almost on an ongoing basis. I can see you are highlighting the dilemmas that we are finding out in our economy, that of black people not owning businesses in critical industries, right?
Yes, correct. Because as a coach, remember, as a coach, you are like a parent.
Yes.
I've got 2 kids. I don't want to see my kids performing or doing less than what I've done. I want to see them doing 100 times of what I think I have achieved. If I've got this house that I'm staying in now, I want them to have houses in US, in every state, because I want them to perform far much better than me. So even as a coach, you want to see these people that you're coaching doing far much better. You don't want them to have limitations. They shouldn't have limitations in doing 100 times than what you can think.
Wow. So if I'm the HR director of a company and I'm sending my staff members to an executive education program, and I hear that in this program there are coaches there that coaches the students beyond just about the application of the knowledge, but also give them ideas around entrepreneurship and also around the other sectors that they may not be aware of, and encouraging them to consider going there. Should I be safe? Should I feel safe?
It's 2 ways, ne? Because when you train every HR person, when they train a person, an employee, they know that this employee is going to leave one day.
Yeah.
But they are training them to bring value to the company at that particular time. Because you care about the people. You will not want to have an employee working for you for 40 years until their retirement.
Yeah.
You're not caring.
Yeah.
You're not caring. You are being selfish.
Yeah.
So you need to say, look, I'm going to train you. I know you will be with us, but if opportunities come, go out there. And when you do this, people will not. Remember, we've got people that are just job hopping. But we've got others that are not there. Others who want to learn and equip themselves so that when they leave the current employment, they are well equipped to go and start something good. So you need to be focusing on those, not these ones that are not interested in the job and the money. They just want to be seen. Right?
So the more you train them, the more they will leave. They will stay because you are taking care of them. It's not necessarily that they will they will leave. But ultimately, you're saying that people do leave, and so, but you will have gained if you train them while they were still with you during that time. It's quite a dicey one, but I hear you. Companies have to be progressive in the way they take care of people. So,
you know, when I left, just a small thing. When I left my employment,
yes,
I was with them for more than 6 years.
Mm.
And you know what my CEO said? Mokgadi, you will never leave.
Yeah.
You love this company so much. You're so passionate about your job. You do everything to make sure that your job is well done. It doesn't matter what it takes, you will make it happen.
Yes.
So I know you'll not leave. So when I told him in December
yes.
that I'm going to leave in June next year.
Yes.
And he said, you wouldn't leave.
Yes.
And come June, when I put in April, when I was putting in my resignation, he was shocked.
Mm.
The time of leaving, it was in July last year.
Mm.
Come July, I'm leaving. They have not advertised, they have not done anything, because they never thought I can live the way I was so dedicated, the way I was passionate, the way they've trained me, and when I left, they took a year to put my replacement.
Wow.
And it's because of the frustration that they were just in. But the point I'm trying to drive is that some of the people, they will leave irrespective of whether they are loyal or what, but because they just feel it's time for new opportunities.
Yes,
like
yes.
I did.
Yeah.
I left my employment, which was good, which was flexible in every way you can think of, with all the benefits, but I just felt it's time to leave, and I left.
Yeah, because sometimes that's the only way to grow. But I think leaving, having added value for the time you were there, it is always appreciated. But it's not nice to leave to lose a good staff member. That's a given. But yes, I agree. Sometimes people outgrow the environment, or they want to see some new things, and that is motivating for them and that's the reason why they leave. It's not always the company to blame. The last point I want us to address is that of coaching being used as a talent retention. There's an argument that when you expose people to coaching, and this is similar to the point you raised, you actually inspire them to even stay longer, because that what you give them they may not find out there, especially with coaching being this new and young in many sectors. And I can imagine that same applies to institutions of learning, business schools. Not all business schools are embracing or introducing coaching the way we have spoken about it, even to a point where they expect their lecturers to use coaching as a methodology in their lecturing. Have you seen that being more displayed, that approach?
Retention of the staff is definite that it can happen through coaching, because that's where people feel safe, they feel like they're growing, they feel like they're appreciated, they feel like they're home, so they don't want to leave. It helps in retaining the staff, because you feel like, if I leave this manager, what more am I going to do? This manager has already made me to attend this course. Now this manager exposed me to this particular computer program. Now they have given me more added responsibility. Now I can do what my manager can do. So they have all the reasons not to leave, because we have coached them. So coaching can be a very good method for retaining the staff. And I know that HR have so many things that says you can give the staff the benefits, you can appreciate them. All those are good, but coaching for me comes on top.
It looks like we have just addressed the point that I think is crucial, and that is the rationale why executive education programs should introduce coaching into their provision of those programs. And that rationale comes from the fact that companies are now adopting coaching more and more. And therefore, the way you develop people in these companies embraces coaching. So therefore, if you send people to an executive education program, they will expect that coaching should be there in the mix of their offering. So is this a call for action to the business schools to start reconfiguring their MBA programs to include coaching? Otherwise, people will go to those that have coaching and leave you if you don't have coaching in your program.
True. I think business schools need to start looking at coaching as a new model.
Yes.
To what they are offering, whether on the MBA or the executive courses that they are offering or the PhD, they need to start looking at the coaching as one of the things they're going to use to sell their business.
Yeah.
But not just to sell their business, because they know the benefit behind it.
Yes.
Because there's so much benefit behind coaching. And it's not just to school. Remember, coaching, it will not just be for school or for the employer. It's also for our country. Because if people are coached well and start to do things well, the contribution to the economy it can be massive. The contribution to the GDP can change.
Yeah. So the people will grow and people will reach to their inner strength and perform well.
Correct.
So are we making ourselves available as coaches to support in this initiative of bringing coaching into the executive education programs? Do we know what those programs entail to start with? Is it every coach that will be suitable for such programs? Or are we also as coaches expected now to understand the context within which the executive education programs are offered?
We have to understand the context. It's very important. You can, as a coach, the first thing, you need to understand the context that you are working in, and there will always be different contexts because it's different people at different times, and so understanding the context is key. So as coaches, we have to understand the context and obviously make ourselves available. And I know that sometimes it will not result in monetary value, but if we have time, let's do it for our country, because we love our country.
Absolutely.
And I tell people there are some of the things that I do because I don't have relatives anywhere. I don't have relatives overseas. If this country goes down, it's not like I can go to Australia or America. No, I have to go back to Limpopo and start to farm and make sure that there's food.
Yeah.
So I love the country to say, if I have time, I can do it even though it's not resulting in monetary value, because I want to see the economy improving. And one of the things that we can do, apart from all the transformation matters that I'm passionate about, is coaching, because coaching will unleash people's full potential.
So you are calling for all coaches to have to practice social responsibility of some sort.
Correct.
Yeah, do it for the good cause. Is coaching a calling?
For me, I think it is. I don't know. Because
Or is it a money making opportunity?
I haven't made that money, but I find myself passionate about coaching, and I coach even though I'm not aware that I was coaching.
Yes.
One person will just call me and say, "Thank you for doing this," and I'm like, "When did I do it?" The day when we're speaking, you said I must go and register. There's this and this. Now I have registered. Now I've graduated. Thank you so much. I want to come and back. I'm like, I can't even remember the conversation.
So that's why coaching is described as a helping profession. It's one of the helping professions. First, you need to love it and the way of being as a coach is that of being caring, being helping, and being interested in other people. Obviously, we also need to make sure that we understand that there is a difference between advising and coaching. So when you give advice or when you give a recommendation, you're not necessarily coaching, but you are living the life of a coach, and that is that of helping. And I think there's a science towards coaching. There is a methodology towards coaching. And I think as coaches, we need to develop ourselves so that we know the tools, the methodologies, and we are intentional about it. But the way of being, that's who we are. You know, we have to be caring, and I agree with you there. So yeah, let's bring it to close. It's been wonderful. Let's check out, what are you taking home from this conversation that you and I had?
Yeah, I think what I'm taking, and I like what you said, to say when you were introducing the topic about where it started around tennis. And I'm saying it started there, but why can't we take it across? Because everyone needs coaching. We know it started there, we appreciate, but let's take it across and make it a lifestyle. Because there can only be benefits. There won't be any regrets in coaching.
Absolutely.
Because in coaching, we only see that it brings empowerment, people are being inspired, all these positive things are coming from coaching. So as people, as individuals, and I know that other people are coached by calling they don't know, start to take it serious and do it wherever you are.
Yeah.
And you know, the good thing about coaching is that it also helps you. Because when you get challenged by life, and someone gives you that call, you go like, wow, it means I can do something. You know, even though you feel like, okay, I cannot give up now.
Yes.
I was in this, I wanted to give up, but I can't because I've done 1, 2, 3, 4. So when you coach, there are other benefits that comes to you to say, actually, you're doing an important job. You cannot be taken down by your current challenges that you can have, or the current challenges that the country can have. So it's coaching for me. I'm saying all of us, we need to be aware of, and those that are passionate, let's do it from the bottom of our heart without expecting a thing. Do not expect as a coach, and especially when you're doing it informally. But when you do it formally, like I've got 3 people that I'm helping, I'm charging because we set particular time.
Absolutely.
But if it's just on the social part, don't expect repayment. Just do it because you see a need. Because you're not putting time frame to say, I'm going to coach this person for this particular time.
Beautiful, beautiful. And we encourage people to qualify themselves because it is a profession. It is the fastest growing profession, the youngest but fastest growing, and it does provide career opportunities as well. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mokgadi Rameetse. Great conversation. Thank you very much for tuning in. And that was Comesa Radio Africa. Check our website, www.comesa-goc.com. And of course, you're welcome to join our membership organization, Comesa Friends and Supporters Club, NPO. You can do that online at www.comesaclub.africa. It's quite an easy process, and the membership is very affordable. 150 rands per person per year, and 5,500 per corporate per year. So it's really quite a giveaway. Join us and let's change and transform our country. Thank you very much, Mokgadi. Thank you, listeners. Take care. And for now, we say goodbye.